We will start with a bit of history of Aristotle University and the Laboratory of Ichthyology. Aristotle University was named after Aristotle, and there are many pictures or sculptures or even coins of Aristotle everywhere, but our logo still is Saint Demetrius, and I'm not even sure if it is Saint Demetrius, this guy, of Thessaloniki. He's the patron of Thessaloniki. Aristotle University was founded as University of Thessaloniki about 100 years ago. We will celebrate the century next year, and was renamed to Aristotle University of Thessaloniki to order Aristotle, obviously, who was born a few miles away from Thessaloniki in 1954. So it's 70 years after the renaming of the university. It was initially built in another place, hosted in another place, another building, and moved to this place in 1927 and expanded on top of a Jewish cemetery. Several years after, we decided as a university to honor the Jewish people and the cemetery, and the university built this monument which still exists in the middle of the campus. The faculty, which is now the Faculty of Science, was initially the Faculty of Physics and Mathematics and was established in 1927. Luckily, our school, our faculty, has Theophrastus as a logo, which is good, a Greek philosopher as well. Now, the School of Biology was established in 1973 as a separate school. We did celebrate 50 years last year with many events and a huge party. There are 4 departments in the school. It's botany, ecology, genetics and molecular biology, and zoology, and 9 laboratories, and many research groups. As in 3 days ago, we were 42 faculty members, 21 male, 21 female. It's a perfect sex ratio of 1. Several of the people, of the staff members, the faculty members, are involved in aquatic sciences. I estimated around 25% that are focusing their research in ichthyology, fisheries, marine biology, limnology, aquaculture, theoretical ecology, and ecosystem modeling. Now, our lab, the Laboratory of Ichthyology, with the small fisherman of Santorini as a logo, was established in 1990 by the late Professor Panos Economidis. Professor Economidis was the mentor and supervisor for many of us. Kostas Stergiou was one of his first students. I was the last one. Litsa Michaloudi was there. Manos Koutrakis was not supervised by Panos Economidis, but he was his mentor for many years. Now the lab has 5 faculty members. Dimitra, who was here and she will present later. Kostas Ganyas, again, the same. Litsa Michaloudi, same, myself and Kostas Stergiou. This is a photo of the 4 of us. This is Panos Economidis. 4 of us because Kostas was part-time for 8 years. As you all know, he was the director of the HCMR. But it was Kostas who introduced our lab to the FishBase. He applied for membership of the consortium in 2004 and officially signed, this membership was signed in 2008. This is a picture for those of you who were there. I count 5 heads in this room, 6. In the meeting of 2005, near the waterfront, if you remember, the top floor with a nice view. Kostas is back from his position, was back during the COVID, and he got a sabbatical last year, and he will be back hopefully next week, but he retires in 2026. We have chaired and hosted the symposium meeting 3 times in the past. You see the dates there. I always use this slide with the pro bono, which is short for pro bono publico, which means for the public good. So I can show to people that FishBase is free and nobody gets money out of it, which is important. People believe that we have a company that is called FishBase and we get funds and we get private money out of it. And the same is for Sea Around Us, which we forgot to mention yesterday. Again, all data are open to use. Now, I asked the GTP, how would FishBase look in antiquity? And I got this picture. It is amazing what this devil thing can do. And then I rephrased the question in ancient Greece. So I got this, which is amazing. Daniel, probably this is you, or Rainer with you. It is amazing. And this is the reply I got. I got a text back that says, it might look in ancient Greek a collection of papyrus, scrolls, and codices in a Greek study setting. I think we should use something like that. Yeah, you will have it, of course. And then I asked about SeaLifeBase. There was a problem there because there is life in the wording. So you got the life in ancient Greece. How would FishBase, SeaLifeBase would look? This is with an open AI ChatGPT. Imagine what version 4, 5, 6 will do. Now, the truth is that FishBase and SeaLifeBase in ancient Greek was the works of Aristotle, a collection of 10 books of Aristotle. This is I think FishBase was an idea of Aristotle, and I will show you why. I will share the presentation, of course, because these pictures are good to have in FishBase presentations. So Aristotle was the first one that distinguished marine mammals from other aquatic organisms. Because they do not have gills, they breathe air and give birth to offspring. Linnaeus, it was after 2,000 years in the 10th edition of his Systema Naturae that he established this difference between marine mammals and fish. And there is still a book, a Greek book of ichthyology, which mixes the two, which is sad. Manos knows what I'm talking about, Litsa does, Donna does. Aristotle put a lot of effort in marine invertebrates. He described several of them. He described the high taxonomic order and several species. This is the cephalopods, the crustaceans, and the echinoderms. There is a professor retired now in our university. Her name is Eleni Vultsiadou. The idea was to invite her to give this presentation, but she had some health issues when we developed the program, so she couldn't. I didn't even ask because I didn't know the answer. So she devoted a lot of her research, besides her marine biology background and research. She devoted a lot of her studies in studying Aristotle and how he described several marine invertebrate species. This is another paper by Eleni and colleagues on bivalves. And then, of course, Aristotle was the first ichthyologist. There is another paper by Kostas Ganyas from our lab and Eleni Vultsiadou that studied Aristotle in comparison to fish. So Aristotle had identified 109 individual taxa, and 74 were identified at the species or genus level. That was 2,300 years ago. He even started the main fish names that then were the basis in Linnaeus' nomenclature. The example here is Xiphias, which is very common and very easy to perceive as a Greek word. But I realized that in FishBase, the reference to Greek fish names is a new one, whereas there is a series of 3 articles in the Journal of Philology in 1927 that list all the Greek names of fishes and how they were used to form the scientific name, and in some cases also the common name. So we should be using this instead. Now, Aristotle also wrote about fish growth. He mentioned that the growth is very high in the beginning and then slows down. He did a lot of work on spawning, similar to the tables that we now have in FishBase. He identified that most fish spawn in March, April, and May, which is a common knowledge now, but after extensive reviews we did. And for sea bass, that it spawns during the winter. He also, according to Kostas, was the first one that described the trophic levels, because the large fish eats the smaller one. And also, what is important for sea arounders and stock assessment, this is a figure from Kostas' presentation yesterday. He chatted with fishers, and he got a lot of information on fishing methods, types of fishing, and fishing seasons directly from fishers in several areas, and he collected this information and put it in his books. So, Kostas and Eleni, in their paper, they conclude that, and I agree, that Aristotle is the first ichthyologist, and he can be considered the creator of the science of ichthyology. And this is how Aristotle would look if you ask the GTP to tell you how Aristotle would look. And this is the reply you get. So with this last slide, and hoping that the Aristotle University will change the logo soon, thank you and welcome to the proper FishBase, SeaLifeBase thing.